Yeah.
Okay, we're here.
You ready?
Town of New Paltz Planning Board, April 13th. Quorum check for April 27th.
Yes.
I won't be here.
Okay,
I'll
I'll be here. That's three. You'll be here?
Yep.
Okay.
The 27th? Okay.
So there's four of us that'll definitely be here. We'll have to check in with Mr. Cohn. Did he say he wasn't coming tonight?
He did not say he was not coming in.
Okay, well, I think we're good anyway, so. Anyone here for public comment? Sunoco. Andy, do we need to hear from you before the resolution?
I don't think so. I think they submitted what we talked about, which is they dated the plans, and they're only proposing 2 signs, and that's it. And that's what this approval is reflecting.
Okay. Cassandra.
Yeah, so the resolution does reflect that not only is it only 2 signs, and I specifically try to call out which ones they are, that I made one of the conditions decommissionment of other signs solely because I didn't know if the canopy was still up. Like their actual plan still has canopy signage.
So you made that a condition?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the conditions somewhere? No.
I see it here.
Yeah, right here at the end.
In bold at the end.
Oh, Okay, anybody want to read the conditions?
I can read it.
Okay.
Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby recommends that the zoning administrator approve the permit for the sign plan for Sunoco, subject to the following conditions: 1, payment of all fees in escrow; 2, removal of all previously approved signage, including all canopy signage and fuel pump signage.
Okay, so, motion to approve, we're good with that, Cassandra?
Yeah, so yeah, the sign plan is the specific, like, is a defined term, so you're just approving the plan that they submitted.
Okay. Name?
Adrian Capuli, aye.
Jennifer Wells, aye.
Del Ruger, aye.
Matt Dodonna, aye.
Joshua Wolf, aye.
Okay, we're all set, thank you.
Thank you. Can you tell me what the next steps are then?
So you need to bring your stuff to the building inspector, and he should be able to either sign off or call me in, and I will sign off on the plans.
Okay, so are you saying that I need to go in person and bring him a copy of my drawings and to have him sign off on it? Is that what you're saying?
I think that is what we're saying, Cassandra, that's what we're saying.
So technically the planning board doesn't issue the permit, the zoning administrator does, or the building inspector, so you have to go, you have to submit, which I think you already have, a formal application, but you should update all your, like, with your most recent plan set, resubmit with this approved resolution. And then he'll confirm that there's no outstanding bills for the engineer, or me, and then, and that he'll confirm the signage requirement.
Okay,
So they have to be the right size, right?
Yes.
They have to be the right size, right? Cassandra?
Yeah, so the sign plan lists specific signs, and I confirmed with Andy today that those were in the code.
I don't mean the size of the signs, I mean the size of the plans.
You know, for sign plan, I don't actually think there is a size. There could be. Sign plan's a little different than site plan.
I think you need to you deal directly with the building department now. You don't come back in front of this board, and you just deal with them to get basically a building permit to do the signs. So
You're trying to
yeah,
find
I
if he has
understand
to
that. I'm
come
just
back, so he's
asking
far
because
away.
I was just asking because first off, I'm pretty far away. Thank you, to your point. So I was wondering if you were able to submit via mail or email. But also we've had an application that was originally submitted however many years ago now. And I wasn't sure if that was still valid. Do I just need to update it? That's what I'm asking, like, what are my next steps to getting my building permit? Like, I realized it has to come through the building department, which is not necessarily you. So I'm not sure if you know like 100% the steps, but just what would be who would I talk to next, I guess?
The building
The-
inspector.
The buildings,
Well-
the code literally says to like the satisfaction of the building inspector. So this one isn't specific of how you have to apply, but you're gonna need an updated set, 100%, because he has to sign off on it. He probably needs two because he needs to keep a copy and then you keep a copy.
So if I send him 2 sets of the drawings that have been uploaded to Municolab and then a copy of this approved resolution, we can go from there.
I would
You have to
call
ask him
tomorrow.
that. I would give him a call. Give him a call, because we're not allowed to say what he'll accept, really.
And you don't need to be there. You could do this via mail.
And he's not. I'm assuming he's not there. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you have to have this resolution signed off on by anyone else? Does it have to go to like the Board of Commissioners or anything, or is it approved now?
I have to sign it.
Okay. Will you send me a copy of that, please?
We will.
Great. Okay. Then it seems like I'm all set. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Night. You too. So the only thing I wanted to report on is that I went to the forestry meeting that they had on Friday
Canaan Road? Is that
on Canaan Road. It was really very interesting, and I think the gist of it is there's a proposal to have a new code written for things like what's her name, Miss Dunwell?
Dunwell.
Yeah. Do you remember her? She
Mhm.
came before us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you remember.
Yes.
So I think what they want to do is be able to bypass the planning board, have a new code where they can work with their forestry person and whoever else is involved, and our building inspector, our wetlands inspector if needed, so that they don't have to go through the whole process that they went through. You were there.
Mhm.
How'd I do? Was that right?
That was right, yeah.
Okay.
Good job, good job.
So is this something that is recommended to the town board? I mean.
Yes, they're recommending
Yeah.
it to the town board. I mean, my only concern, I think it's a good idea, is I'd like to have a little bit of oversight, not the planning board, but the town board. Maybe, we would have a forestry person or, or the wetlands inspector that might also have a forestry license, could take a look at it.
Or we
I
could just
think,
have our own, we could just hire our own forestry consultant.
right, it would, well, they're gonna bypass us, but that was my recommendation maybe the only concern I have.
I
I mean,
agree.
because even if they have an expert, for example, all of our applicants most of them come with experts, right? But we also have our experts.
Yeah.
So I felt that, that was my only contribution.
That's good.
Did you know about that, Cassandra?
No, this is the first I'm hearing about it. That being said, yeah, you could always hire for specific projects a forestry person already if it's something that you thought
I mean,
would
just someone
benefit
to
you.
look it over. I feel like we should have someone, we, the town should have
Yeah.
someone to.
I don't
to
think it's a
build.
bad idea.
I feel like we made those comments, like when she came here,
I
it's
think
been a
we-
while that she had the proposed law and that was kind of what we had said.
And I think it changed a little. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, we discussed it at the NCB.
Yeah,
She really would like us to have a forestry code.
yeah.
And since she's the pioneer, I visited the site before,
Mm-hmm.
last year maybe. She does have a forester, she's sustainably cutting the trees. And so it's to keep people from, clear cutting, all that. We think it's a really good idea, but the ENCB can't write code.
Right.
So we don't know how to do it. That's why we came to you.
And I think the goal is to rather, perhaps someone that would consider developing their property might go in this direction rather than develop their property. They can save a little bit of money in taxes. I'm not sure how much. I don't know any of that. But if they do this process of selectively taking down some trees, then it works. So if anybody has any comments? No? Okay.
Well, and if it does, like any zoning law changes should eventually get referred to the planning board for comments. So if this kind of moves in fruition, it will come back to you for
Okay.
formal comment as part of their procedure.
I would just say that however it's written, and it sounds like you're on the right track, it just has the protection against, some of these foresters make a big mess. And I think that particular project was done the right way. But I have seen some foresters come in and really do a lot of damage. So I think that there should be some protection in there. Just make sure that whoever's doing it is qualified and doing it correctly. So.
Well, we were talking about that actually, and there's a DEC list of foresters. I don't know if that's enough.
Right, I
but-
remember we had talked about having an approved list of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, and the only other thing I'd like to bring up is something we started to talk about at the beginning of this. Is Farmer's Choice is before the ZBA for a variance for a very large sign. If you all remember, when Taco Bell applied for signs, this planning board wrote a letter to the ZBA requesting that they adhere to the sign ordinance and not give them the extra signage. And that letter apparently was never read to the ZBA. And that's why we have that humongous sign at Taco Bell. Now, you might say, well, it matches the one from Burger King. However, if you remember, Burger King was grandfathered into their old sign size, so there was nothing we could do about that. If we want to comment, Cassandra, you could tell me if this is okay. If we want to comment on the on the Farmer's Choice sign, the sign they applied for, I heard was 4 times what, yes, 4 times.
Which is still like the entrance to our town. The first thing you see when you get off the highway.
Weed.
So,
Is the sign going over there? Put it over there with a big arrow, right?
So, 2 things. So,
Yeah, literally.
so if you want to talk, so I don't know if they're gonna have a public hearing. I don't know if that, like, usually variances require a public hearing. I don't know your variance code, but you could,
Yes, it
at
does.
that time, I assume it does. At that time, I would submit a comment on behalf of the planning board, and then, or you could all individually comment. So you could tonight vote Adele or someone to write a letter stating such and allow her to submit, because I assume they're on the next agenda, to make it timely. Or you could all individually comment as individuals instead of a board, or you could do both.
okay, hold on 1 second. Melissa, do you know when they're in front of them for the
Next
sign? Monday.
Next Monday, yeah.
Okay.
So, oh,
Matt, you want to say something?
It's next Monday at 7.
Yes.
I can't be there. I was gonna say I'll volunteer to go, I'll go there myself and I'll read the letter. But I can't be there.
you could
Well-
also read it into the record.
So it wouldn't be
That's
that
what I was gonna-
coming Monday.
So there's gonna be a scheduled public hearing after
Yes.
this
they're
Monday?
doing Their initial meeting where they discuss it with the board, and then the public hearing is the next month.
Which would be, what's the date? Sorry
You're
to
fine.
hit you with that.
It's the 3rd Monday in May. It would be the 18th of May.
So you could actually then authorize one of you to write a letter, and then you could review it at your next meeting since you have time. I just wasn't sure where it was at in the process.
Everybody ready?
No, decide.
Okay, so, and when's our next meeting?
The
20?
27th.
Okay, why don't we can still have time to talk about it on the 27th and prepare something for the 18th of May.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Does the ZBA have a muni collab like we do? Or you,
No, we don't have a meeting collab.
so do we know,
They
Could-
do, if you go to their webpage, there is a couple links to their projects, but it's not on Unicolab.
okay, so we can see their application and what they're asking for, I
Yeah.
can compare it to, okay,
To the code,
okay.
Okay,
I'll try to take a look at that.
that'd be great.
I'll try to take a look at it.
Okay, motion to adjourn,
So move.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
All right.
Okay, good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good
Have a
night.
great night.
Night.
Right.